Hello, everybody. Welcome to Autofocus. I am your host, Brooke, and I am here today with Ty King.
Hey.
So, Ty, tell us a little bit about you. Who are you, and what do you do?
Who am I? That's a deeper question.
The deeps, yeah. We only have like 30 minutes, but we can go.
Yeah, relevant.
I know.
Okay. So I'm one of the founders and the executive director of the Arkansas Podcast Collaborative, which is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that helps podcasters, particularly in the South region and even more particularly in Arkansas. So we try to push the medium of podcasting. You're already speaking the gospel to the choir over here. But we try to help them get over the hump of, I don't have the tech skills or I don't know where to start. And so we give them the coaching, get them connected to the resources that they need to go ahead and get their show started.
That's awesome. Yeah. What is the most common thing that you run into for most people? Is it they don't know where to start with like tech? They don't know where to start with their story?
There's so many of those, I don't know where to start. But there's also, I don't know if I'll have anybody to listen to me. I don't know if I have anything to share. I've got an idea for what this is and it's this big. And and I ask, who is it for? Who's your audience? Well, anybody. That's always the comment. Anybody and everybody. I'm like, we're already starting off. We need to narrow this down.
It's like, you got to come in. Yeah.
For sure.
The niche audiences, is that kind of what you recommend to people? Like the niche audiences seem to work better.
I tell people, I was like, Amazon didn't start off as Amazon as it is now, right? It was a bookstore. It was you particularly went there because you wanted to buy a book because you didn't want to go to the bookstore. And so it's grown to now you need a vacuum cleaner. So I tell them, like, whenever you see it, like, you're going to have people that jump on your show that naturally are drawn to it, but who are you particularly aiming for? And so I always ask them these 4 questions, and once you have these 4 questions answered, they're basically the 4 walls that you can make this room where you can make your podcast be anything at all. And it'll help you refine your show. It'll help you build it and be better. But what is the name of your podcast? What is it about? Who is it for particularly? And what value do they get from listening to your podcast?
Oh, yeah, those are good. Those are good.
Yeah.
And so if you can't answer those 4, you need to think about it a little more.
Right. Oh,
yeah.
And you're constantly finding that too.
Yeah. Because like once you get started, then you learn more.
Yeah.
Because like once we notice is like once we start looking at the analytics, and so like you're doing like a topic over here, I was like, let's do one about the lights that are behind us. Let's do one about like the cameras themselves, and then you start doing all these different things, and you just kind of see what the audience really likes.
And sometimes you look at your analytics.
Yeah, you gotta look at the analytics.
My audience is completely different than what I thought I was appealing to.
Yeah, so for sure. Yeah,
which episodes are actually hitting and getting the most views, and it's I've got a mostly female demographic between 35 and 45. I thought it was gonna be males between this age and this.
Yeah.
And so you kind of bend your show.
And it changes a little bit, yeah.
Okay, I guess it's made for these people, and here's the value that they're getting out of it. So.
Yeah, we totally we saw that too, because we started off as like just gear, and like we talked about like this is how you use the gear. Yeah. But then we did one about composition. Like it was just like this is just like your 6 composition basics. When it comes down to like this is why when you see this is why it looks good. And people loved it. So like now that's why we're like let's do more about training and like advice and telling people what to do. And like, we talk about the gear, but that's not as much as we do. And it's been working. So yeah. Analytics.
Check them.
They are so important. Yeah. Yes. So you are here in Northwest Arkansas, and you don't normally live here. So what brings you here?
I normally live here.
You don't normally live here. Do you? Yeah. What brings you to Northwest Arkansas?
Yeah. Well, I wish somebody would donate a house or something. I have a second home.
Yeah. You just come whenever you want.
Back and forth. Yeah. So today, right now, I'm up here to check out the venue for our annual podcast festival, which is going to be happening on November 22nd. Yes, Mount Sequoia Center. Where we are bringing in the podcast team behind NASA's podcast. And so they're going to come up, they're going to join us and talk about how they create their shows. And we're going to have a lot of students this year, which is really amazing, that are going to be learning exactly from that team. But also we're going to have a lot of hands-on demonstrations of like the tech, and there's lots of things. But that night we're having the ARKAST Awards. This is the 2nd year for that, even though it's the 4th year for the festival. And it is community nominated, community voted. And so the winners get to walk the stage, accept their award, and we're going to have a great night.
That's awesome. Yeah, I wanted to talk about that. So it's put on by the Arkansas Podcast
Collaborative.
I think I literally wrote down collective. Yeah. Collaborative. Yeah. All right. So what is the Arkansas Podcast Collaborative?
Okay, so it is the 501c3 I was talking about. So we're a nonprofit organization, and the only one that exists in this area where we are, helping people find out the tech skills, because consultations, they cost a lot. Whenever you're like, I think I want to start a podcast, and then you go in there and then you get it started, and like it can cost a lot of money to put down to get started, and you don't know, like the majority of podcasts that get started don't last, right? So there's only a small percentage of the ones that start that actually are consistent, and so we try to. It's like, why is that? Why is there such a drop off? Why is there such a fall off? And so there's multiple things where it's like the learning curve of the tech. There's the learning curve of getting your content together, but also the consistency model where you're not seeing the numbers of people watching or consuming your content. They get discouraged and they just stop, or time consumption. And so we try to teach them along the way of not only like encouraging them and showing them how to do it, but also how to do it in a way that is consumable for them and doable to where they're consistently putting out content, so that we're creating that. Because Arkansas, we're a flyover state, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay, so because we're flown over, and because in most media, in order to start a career in like Hollywood or whatever you want to do, you got to go to New York or you got to go to LA, right? And so coast to coast. But with podcasting, the barrier to entry is so low. You could literally do it on your phone at home to get started, right? And then escalate and move yourself up. So what we try to do is take those voices that have developed because nobody's coming here to pick from a talent pool, which we have so much talent, but we're a flyover state. But because we've been so forgotten, we've kind of developed our own community and culture and voices and stories to tell. And so there's absolutely something to learn from everyone. And so what we try to do is encourage them, and then also get them connected to the right resources, like your studio here. Like this is great. If they don't want to learn how to do the tech or invest a lot of money in the, because it's expensive.
A lot of money. This isn't cheap. Yeah.
And I've got an addictive personality, so I just continuously buy new lenses and cameras and microphones and stuff, and like they're my new toys, I guess.
Yeah.
But no, it's much more affordable, much more doable, and they can focus on the show whenever they have like a studio like this they could just walk into, and they can do their show and put all their focus onto it.
Yeah, because you just walk in, we record, and we could, and it depends on what you want to do. We could edit it to help you distribute, help you do everything. Right. And basically we take all of the like the stuff that's not fun, like that's not creative, and we can take all that stuff off your plate. And so, but I wanted to talk about the ARKAST Awards, and you were talking about how it's it's public voted, which I think is like super, super cool. So how does that work? I saw the Google form, and so I was like, oh, we're gonna go do that. But how does it work? So like each is attached to like an email?
Yeah. So it was community nominated, and so we have that for like the beginning of the year. For so many months we have it open, and people go in, they fill out the form. But yes, it's attached to your email, so like you get one nomination. But there's all these categories that you can nominate people for, right? So we gather all those up, we put them in their proper categories, and then we send it out as a voting form, and it's up to the community. And yes, one vote per email. Yes. That's the only way we can really keep track of it. Make sure it's fair, because we didn't want to just like choose and pick our favorites. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We wanted to be completely open and completely publicly voted. That way, it's honest and fair that way, right? I think it's only right. So we love celebrating those podcasts that have such a following that they get all of their people rounded up to come in and support them. John Tyson Elementary School is one of those where, oh my gosh, they do such a good job.
Sure.
Those kids, man, they're so good. Yeah.
That is so cool. Oh, where is that? That one, is that Springdale?
Yeah.
Okay. One of my friends, no, he works in Rogers. He used to work in Springdale. But he does like the video for like Rogers Public Schools. So I'm sure he does. I'm sure he has his own podcast. I'm gonna have to reach out to him. But
sure.
That's so cool. And so, so anybody can go. Like you don't have to be a podcaster.
No.
Like if you just go to the website, which I saw.
Yeah.
So you basically just go. You can basically Google Arkansas Podcast Collaborative. And then it comes up, you can click it, and then like right there is the banner. Sure. So you can anybody can go and vote.
ArkansasPodcasters.org is the website. Yes. And like tickets are by donation only. So, I mean, if you feel like giving us $1, we appreciate it. If you just want to come for free, we also appreciate that as well. So we don't want you to be there. We much want to make it as accessible as possible and get as many people there as possible to learn.
That's awesome. So voting is right now. When does voting close?
At the end of next month.
Okay.
Yes.
And then basically you'll tally everything up, and then you go and you get the award. Do you have like awards, like little trophies?
So we make them by hand.
Ooh, that's fun.
Yeah. I'm very, very much a supporter of crafts and doing things yourself and try to make it as nice as possible, right? So Last year we had the glass that we etched, then we put it on boards and we painted it and all these different things. And so I think this year it's going to be a little bit different, involving 3D printers and casts and such.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, that'll be a surprise whenever we come.
That's really cool too. So like every year it's like your own individual piece of art.
Yeah.
So that's super cool. All right. Okay. So this is really cool. So everybody, make sure you go and you vote for your favorite podcast, because you don't even need to be in Arkansas either. Like anybody. That's exciting. Okay. But are all the podcasts from Arkansas?
They are. Well, they're from the region, at least, around here in the Delta area, whatever you want to call this. Or Missouri, Oklahoma, yes, everybody surrounding. But the majority of them are from directly in Arkansas.
Okay.
A lot of them are right here in this area.
I love it. Yeah. I was kind of going through and seeing like all the other podcasts. Yeah, it was super cool. There's a lot of cool people there. I'm excited. Okay. But the podcast collaborative isn't the only thing that you do.
No.
So you also have podcasts and creative projects of your own. So would you want to talk about some of those?
Sure. Yeah. So I do a lot of things in podcasting. It's so hard whenever somebody asks, like, what do you do? And I'm like, I do a lot of stuff.
All of it.
It's like, which one's going to be more interesting to you? We can continue on that subject. So I'm on the board of governors for the Podcast Academy, which is the nonprofit organization that is an international that hosts the AMBIs, which is like the Oscars for the podcast industry itself. But the other shows that I work on, so one of them is called Long Term. That's my passion project, where it is about recovery, trying to learn about recovery. We started with learning about substance abuse recovery, but we've also learned about sexual abuse recovery, like all kinds of different across the board. How does it work? What resources are available? How do we make a sustainable future so that we can get people on the track of recovery? But trying to understand it from the perspective of someone that's never had to go through recovery for addiction. And I knew that I grew up in a household where my father he was an alcoholic, right? But I never really thought of it like that, like he was an addict when I was a kid.
Yeah, because you're used to it.
Just in like survival mode.
Yeah, right.
And like that your house is a little bit different than everybody else's houses when you go to do a sleepover. But then like it wasn't until I was an adult that I really realized, oh yeah, he's definitely in there. Like he may not have been on drugs, and maybe he was, I don't know, but like So it's been a really great experience, like traveling the country and talking to people that run, recovery organizations and have lived experience, and policymakers. I've done ride-alongs with police officers. I've done, the interviews with Supreme Court justices, and just trying to figure out, top to bottom, how does this work? And the other one is Smart Justice. And so Smart Justice is with the Restore Hope organization. And there's a different social justice sort of topic that's covered every season. So this last one we did was about juvenile justice. Why is it that there are more juvenile detention centers in Arkansas than there are for adults? And so we looked into it and figured out, like, how does this system work as well? Because if you have an addiction problem and you're 13 years old, right, you get sentenced to a year or 18 months. And you go in there, and if you don't have a stable household to go home to after you're done with your time, they can hold you until you're 18 years old. And so you can spend the most formative years of your life in lockup trying to defend for yourself. Right. And then they throw you out and be like, okay, now be a citizen.
Because it's at 13, something happened. Like, it's not your fault that you have a substance abuse problem. Yeah.
So there's lots of holes, and you can see obviously the things that are wrong with that. So what we did is work with DHS and DYS and like all the departments of those different organizations and the facilities, and tried to find out what works, how can we prevent, but also intervene in a lot of these different cases that are happening, and put more maker spaces out there, making opportunities for the kids. And a lot of them just feel like they weren't being invested in. And
I can see that. Yeah. Especially if you're just going to be basically locked away till you're 18.
Right.
And then just go have productive lives.
Yeah.
You're like, that's not how it works.
Exactly right.
It's not.
Yeah. So, worked on policy change. And so it's really rewarding. I mean, like, you get to sleep a little bit better at night because you're like, you're doing some good. But like, whenever you make those incremental little changes, you're like, oh man, we did something there.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool. But okay, so when you tell the stories, like, how do you do it? So you use podcasting, but you do a different type of podcasting. That's seems kind of new.
I call it documentary podcasting just because there's not a really better word for it. But it's basically like we're filming it like a Netflix documentary. But when I edit it, I will, not only shoot the interview where I'm behind the camera and we're asking questions and we cut down the answers just like you would see on Netflix. But we also interviews, some B-roll that we go out and shoot. Like I said, big believer in doing everything by yourself. And so if no stock footage, we're shooting our own stuff.
AI generated stuff,
So that's where my addiction to camera work actually it comes in handy. I'm like, I have a drone, gotta do this.
Yeah.
So, I've got so much stuff to use. But no, going out and shooting those interviews and making those impactful statements, and then cutting them in with the B-roll. But also when we edit it, we make it to where the audio is tight enough to where you can export it as an audio file and release it as an audio podcast on Apple and Spotify and Amazon Music and all those. So, yeah.
I was gonna ask what the difference was, but basically like there's an audio version because I know that
right,
because like in regular documentaries there might be like long breaks where you have like gnat sounds, and so where it's not where as a podcast like when you're watching it visually it makes sense, but like when you're listening to like cows in a field for too long you're like this is weird and boring, like what's going on? So yeah,
that makes sense. And so we started off doing, just the video version and then a separate audio version where it had more of the ambient sound and stuff like that. But like, oh my gosh, it was way too much, especially for a 2-person team working on this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You're just like, no, there's one version.
We're like, no, we're just going to edit this whole video version and make it tight enough to where it can be exported as audio.
Yeah. How long is an episode?
About 40 minutes.
Really? So, but
yeah.
I was my master's degree is in documentary film, and I made a documentary there, and so I made 2 in like mine are like 20 minutes, and and I spent like 9 months on it.
Yeah.
So how long does it take you to put out like a season, or like I guess you do like one episode at a time?
Yeah, and it depends on how many episodes are going to be. I can put an episode together within 2 or 3 days. As long as we can get the interview. Once I have that in the can, it's nothing for me to go out and get the B-roll, put it all together, chop it up, and then export it. But that's the hardest thing is getting people's schedules nailed down.
Yeah. So how many people do you interview for like one episode? I guess it probably varies.
Yeah, it varies. Sometimes we do the one-on-ones if it's important enough. Like if we're going to get the prosecuting attorney, let's say, that's going to be its full episode, right? Because that person has a lot of experience on their side that they need to first inform you how it works, but then also point out some of the holes and the things that they're working on and what they hope to work on. And so there's a lot to go through. But then other times you'll have a round table of, 4 or 5 people that are sort of just having a conversation and kind of reminiscing over what we've already gone over, kind of in having a live conversation over that. Yeah.
I can see that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So this is autofocus and we are based on the gear. So we do have to talk about the gear a little bit. So what kind of gear? I know you're excited. All right. So what kind of gear do you use? I know I always bring in, this is my
really
camera.
Cool.
This is from, I got this and my parents let me have it. So I became the family photographer at like 12.
Nice.
So this is the camera that my parents had when probably from the 70s. And then I took it over when in like the 90s and then I kind of made it mine.
That's awesome.
So yeah, that's my
That still looks like a really good, nice camera.
It is. So it's not. Right? So what happened is so I ruined it at the beach when I was like a senior in high school. Yeah. And then, and so my parents took it and then fixed it. But while they were fixing it, I got another camera. And so I didn't even realize they fixed this until a couple years ago. Yeah. And they were moving. And so when they were moving, they were like, oh, we have this camera. And then I was like, well, I ruined it. And they're like, oh, no, we had it fixed. And it's perfect. I know. Check it out.
Does it even have a hot shoe there?
Yeah.
And it was made in the 70s? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Look how clean it is. Wow. I know. Because it literally hasn't been touched since the 90s.
Yeah.
So no, I want to. That's one of my goals is to get some film and do some film projects and see if I remember how to do it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But what about yours? Okay, you brought.
So I love to shoot with Sony cameras. I was shooting with Blackmagic, the 4K Pocket Cinema ones. But there's this. I don't know. You guys use Blackmagic?
Yeah, you have the mic.
They look great. So I can never make mine look this good. Mine are always, they got that faded look in the color. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just don't know how to fix that. And I've watched so many YouTube videos. I'm trying to fix it, try color correct, and I don't know how to do this. Yeah. But bought Sony, and Sony does a lot of it in camera because they're glass and
that makes it easy.
Yeah, it's so good. So I use a ZV-E10, which is supposed to be like a vlogging camera. And I use that for 4K, 24 frames per second. That's what I film with the Tamron lens. But then this is my latest one for taking photos. I was using a Canon M50 with a cinematic lens on it, which I still love. It's really great because it's a prime lens. And so all of that bokeh blur in the back. Also, anyway, so this is the Sony A7R III. And so specifically the R ones, I don't know, you probably know this, but it's about resolution.
I have no idea.
So there's the A7 IIIs, so like the basic version.
Okay, the very basic version. Yeah.
And then
yeah.
A7S, I believe, is for video, and then A7R is for resolution. So it's particularly like it will shoot video, but this is specifically for photos. Yeah, and so I take my really good photos with this one.
That's really good. So yeah, that's really cool because so it's going to be like real lot of color. It's like National Geographic kind of stuff. Yeah,
National Geographic. I like that. Not until I get one of those huge lenses that's like the 500 millimeters.
The 500, yeah. And you can go, and then you can go on a safari.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And you can like shoot, you can shoot the animals. But
I've never held one, but those things look like they weigh 100 pounds.
Yeah, I used to do newspaper photography, and you just have to get the monopod because you might some people I might have too, but you have to get the monopod and that will go into the lens because like it's so heavy. Like you can't put the monopod on the camera because like it will literally bend the mount. So you have to put the monopod. You have to have a monopod.
Yeah.
Or else like it will bend. It's so heavy it will come off the camera.
That's wild. Yeah. Yeah. Someday.
Yeah. So what else do you use? So you were talking about the drones and stuff.
Yeah. So you use a DJI the 4K drone.
Okay.
The Mini.
Yeah, I use drones so rarely.
You ever seen those Osmo 3s that everybody has? It's basically an Osmo 3 that has propellers.
Yeah, and it's just like and it's really
flies. Oh, it's beautiful. Like the color, like you fly it up in the sky over, like Pinnacle Mountain and stuff. I'm gonna do it here when I go to
Sequoia
Mountain.
Oh, Sequoia would be so nice.
Oh man, yeah, I'm gonna do that. I brought it with me. But those things, like those are useful to shoot like overhead shots. Like I went to Dallas Fort Worth and like shot both of those cities and to roll as a B-roll. But supposedly if this contract doesn't go through by the end of the year, they're going to be illegal to even have because they're Chinese manufactured.
Oh, yeah. Oh gosh. Oh, it'll go through.
I hope so.
Yeah. God, and drones. Because when I learned how to do drones, it was like when the FAA was like being really, really strict about it. You had to like have a pilot's license and all this stuff because we had started doing that for White Spider, and then literally the FAA came and shut us down.
Wow.
Yeah, and they were like, you have to go get a pilot's license. And it was going to be like $5,000 to get me a pilot's license. And they were like, no, we don't want to do drone that bad. And I was like, fine.
Yeah. Can't fly anywhere near an airport or.
Yeah. There's a lot of rules.
Red zones.
Yeah. Especially here because like we're right next to an airport.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. There's like, and you were just really like you just don't even realize like how far it goes out.
Yeah.
You're like, you can't shoot anywhere. Right?
Yeah. Nowhere.
That's awesome. So, okay. Any other gear that you really, really like? And that's what's your favorite stuff to take out there with you when you go? And how big do you put it? Like, is it like a backpack you can like?
Oh, I've got it. Well, there's So I've got my backpack and it's got all my different cameras and stuff in there. But my ones I shoot with, I have built out this like huge rig.
Okay.
So I use like all small rig stuff, and so I got a mat box. So I've got the V-mount battery to go on the back, and like it's got a shoulder mount. It's got handles right here.
Oh yeah, cool.
So I can put it on my tripod, or I can take it off and just lug it around.
That's awesome.
I put in so many handles on this thing. There's like 50 handles on my rig, so that I can like hold it like this. I can hold it like this. I can do it like this.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So
that's really fun. Yeah. Is that so? Like, is that kind of like your favorite thing to do? So when you're, is that and like when you're moving the camera around, what is it? I mean, I feel like that's like what a lot of people are missing these days is like just the creativity that comes from angles. Like we talk about that a lot because it's like, I feel like, like the angles is like really what will take you like from like, just regular level to like up.
Never, even when I'm taking photos, never shoot at eye level. Mm-hmm. That's my rule. Yeah. Never shoot at eye level. Never stand up and just take a picture at your eye level.
Yeah.
Because that's like it may be pretty, but like it's not going to be eye capturing. You know what I mean? So we can get those unique perspectives like we were just talking about. So yeah, try to go a little bit lower or down and to the left, and think about the rule of thirds, of course. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure you've gone over that.
Oh yeah, forever. Yeah. No, it's so it just angles are like so important, and so that's kind of like why you have so many different. Mm-hmm. Because like each setup can like is a different angle basically.
Yeah.
Is that why you did it?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I mean, just to ask the obvious question.
Yeah.
But yeah. So why do you think it's so important to like basically kind of push the boundaries for like creativity and doing different types of podcasting? Like why break the boundaries? Innovate and try things that are new.
Why is it important? Why is it ever important to innovate? You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it would be boring. I know. We don't want to be boring. We
don't have technology. Yeah, like we would be stuck on that camera right there. It's pretty.
It is.
I don't know if it works as well as those over there for recording video.
Not at all.
You know? So, but yeah, there's such room, and it's like the podcasting is just it's the Wild West. You know, it's been around for a few years, but like it's still. And it's the most the years where it's being formed of like, what is this? What is the future of it? I mean, Wondery just got dissolved by Amazon after it, right? So Amazon bought Wondery, they dissolved it, spent the shows over to Audible. And so like that's huge because Wondery was like the big podcast thing, but like it sort of left people scrambling. But there are so many people that are doing interesting things with podcasting. It's such a versatile tool. Like the kids I mentioned earlier, they're using it as their school announcements, right?
It's fun.
Yeah. Instead of doing the intercom, now you listen to the podcast, and they do a great job. We are using that Smart Justice podcast to help reform policy and change specifically in a certain state. You can do it for like that. And then there are caretaker podcasts. There are, I mean, like anything you can think of. But yeah, breaking outside the bounds is, my friend Ariel says, learn all the rules of podcasting first of all, and then break them all.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you make a name for yourself, but also how you find, something original. Like there's the sky's the limit in this right now. There aren't a whole lot of rules.
Yeah.
Like I said, that you build those four walls with what is your name of your podcast? What is it about? Who's it for? What value do they get of it? Now you've got a room to build whatever.
Just whatever.
Yeah.
And how you want to tell that story is totally up to
exactly.
you. So you can tell it. I guess when we were at Podcast Movement, the Clucky and Kitty, or Kitty and Clucky.
I didn't see that one.
Oh my God, they were so cute. But there's like a podcast, but they use a lot of like sounds, like in post, like sound effects, and so I thought that was really cool and like very very different. And they're audio only, and so like they don't, even though they have cool costumes, they don't even want to go, like they're like I was like but video, and they're like no, we like to keep it like audio only because we can have I guess because they send it to kids and they can have much more imagination with just the sounds than if they saw the pictures. So yeah, in
a way, it makes sense. But I will say, so YouTube is the #1 podcast platform in the world. So if that's what that is, why would you not use video? Because I'm pretty prioritized is video, and the #1 way that people are finding out about podcasts is through YouTube Shorts. So if you're not using YouTube, like I don't know, it's a harder climb up. You know what I mean?
I know,
it's a lot harder.
So I know that's you preach to the choir.
Yeah,
podcast videos.
Yeah,
so that's our in the name.
There you go. Yeah,
that's what we do. Yeah. We do. We love the videos. But this is awesome. Okay, 2 more questions. I always ask, what advice would you give to someone if they're just starting out? So what is like the #1 piece of advice that you do give to people when they're first starting out? Other than the 4, because you already get that's a good one.
Right. So it's that 4. So once you have that laid out, I always recommend that people make it into a simple statement. You know what I mean? So like you're taking those 4 things, if you're, what podcast name is, what it's about, who it's for, what value are they getting out of it? Okay. Now next is to make a statement. My podcast name is blank. It's about this, and it's for people that do this, and they get this out of it. You know what I mean? And that's your elevator pitch, right? That's the version of it. But having a 1 sheet based on that, you can do a lot of things just based on that right there, because it clearly defines what the show is, who it's for, and maybe it's appealing to the reader or not. And you can do a lot of things with that. So one of the things that we also help with is getting grants for podcasts, right? It's really, really, really important that when you're pitching an organization or a grant giver on your show, if you want a grant for your podcast, they're going to have to know clearly and very quickly what your show is about. And they're not going to read 15 pages. They don't have time for that because there are lots of people that are submitting a lot of different, a lot of different projects. And so if you clearly define, let's say you're pitching to an organization that specifically deals with, I don't know, like underprivileged children in a certain area, right? And that's what your podcast is trying to appeal to, is trying to give education to parents that helps them to, better give resources to those kids. And that organization's like, well, this perfectly aligns with who we're trying to reach. So we will give you that funding for this podcast. And so, but without that sheet, like you really don't have anything to build anything off of.
Yeah.
But also it's just good for you because like it clearly defines, in life itself, right? When you asked me in the beginning, who are you?
Who are you? You're like,
right.
I have a sheet.
The more you work, the more that you work on that, even for yourself, the more clearly defined you know what your role is in the world and who you are. And so that helps with your self-esteem. That helps with your career. It helps with your life, relationships. And so like the same thing with your show. Like the more you work on this, the more defined you're going to get it and the more confident you'll be in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's really great advice.
Yeah.
That's some of the best advice we've had so far. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. And I want to let you have one last plug for the ARKAST Awards and why people should come and go vote.
And go vote. Yes. Why you should vote right now for the ARKAST Awards is because there are a lot of really, really great creators that are doing a lot of things outside of the bounds of what you've already seen in podcasting, but they're doing it right here in Arkansas. So going there, giving them a vote so that they can have another booth of confidence whenever they walk the stage and get to have that award. Like it means a lot to people, you know what I mean? Just to be recognized for the art and how much time, this is really, really, really time consuming. And a lot of blood, sweat, and tears goes into these shows. And it means the world to them, and it helps encourage them, and it helps inspire and show the rest of the world that, hey, there is actually a career that you can build in this, and this is worth investing in. It boosts our economy, it boosts our creative economy and artistic economy, and makes more shows that help educate, entertain, and all the above. So on November 22nd, we are going to be at the Sequoia Center, and we're going to have a full day. We've got the NASA podcast team coming in. We're going to be showing a podcast documentary, and we're going to be doing the ARKAST Awards that night. But we have a lot of other fun stuff that's surrounding it. So come out. Tickets are free. If you want to give a donation, we greatly appreciate it. It helps us to continue us to do more events and do more educational events. And so we're really looking forward to it, and it's exciting every year, and I love it.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming, and let's stay in touch.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Brooke.
Let's work together. All right.
There it is.
All right, thanks. Bye.